All right, so the Skyline came with some spray painted black wheels. These are the factory R32 wheels, but they've been spray painted. Looks like a couple of times. Pretty thick paint. So we're gonna go ahead and get this paint off here. You can see it just scrapes off with my fingernail, and sand it down with some 500 grit, and then spray paint them with this DupliColor wheel paint. Never used it before, but I figured it's going to be better than what's on there. I don't like flat black spray painted wheels. They're ugly. I will be getting new wheels in the future for the car, but I'm going to keep these as my winter wheels. So might as well make them look good. Let's get this one stripped. We already stripped the front one, but we stripped that by hand, and I'll show you what it looks like. Looks a lot better. This natural aluminum, but just not a good look since we've stripped off all the paint. It's pretty ugly. We'll go ahead and strip that one off, make it look like that, and then we'll paint them all at the same time. All right, wheels are off. Let's get them outside, get some gloves, get to stripping. All right, we got our paint stripper, got some sandpaper, the brush that I really don't care about, and some plastic. Directions say be liberal with it. If you want to speed it up, use plastic to cover it. So I like to do things quickly, so we're going to use some plastic. I'm just going to sand it to break through the surface. So let's sand it and get to stripping. All right, they're kind of stripped. Sanded. Pretty thick stuff. Stripper's been on for a little while. It's the first wheel we did. Got a little Bondo spreader. Let's see how easy this stuff spreads off. Pretty good. Scraped off pretty well. A lot of it actually came off on the plastic. Some spots are still pretty tough to get off, but I might just need to put another coat. Okay, so here is 2 coats of aircraft stripper. You got majority of the black and the blue layers of paint off of there. There's a factory silver on these wheels as well, so I still have to get that stripped off there. I'm gonna have to go ahead and get another can of the aircraft stripper. I used all of the first can. It's a small can, it wasn't very much. So I just have to do a second coat and then get the rest of this paint off there, sand them, and... All right, so it's a whole new day. I stayed out here last night for a while sanding this one wheel. I still have 3 more to go. The stripping took all the paint off, but that doesn't relieve the prep that I have to do on the wheel. So let's get sanding. Probably be here all day, but hopefully I can spray these this evening. And then they can just sit out here in the shop and cure all week. Let's go. All right, 5 o'clock. I've been here all day sanding these wheels. I got all 4 of them done. But I can't paint them today because the parts store doesn't have the right primer for this paint from DuPont. So I ordered that off Amazon, should be here in a few days. Once I get that in, I'll go ahead and prep these, tape them up, do all that stuff, and paint them. All right, my primer and prep spray came in, and I also picked up a clear coat for the wheels. So today we're gonna go ahead and start painting. I'm gonna go ahead and lay these on the floor, get them all prepped up, taped up, and then start with the backs. Doing the backs first is gonna let me know how this paint reacts to the primer. It's all DupliColor per their directions. The enamel should go over the lacquer pretty well, but I'm still curious how it's gonna turn out. So I'm glad I'm doing the back first. Plus, I wanna do the back so you can't see through the front. The old aluminum just makes it look a lot better since I'm changing the color. So let's get started. some prep spray on it, like a wax grease remover, just to take any like silicone or anything like that off the surface so you don't get fish eyes or bubbles. Let's go ahead and get that done, cleaned up. We can get on to priming. Alright, we're going to let that dry and go ahead and get the priming. Alright, go ahead and let that set up for about 30 minutes. Go ahead and give it a top coat. So it's been half an hour. The primer's dry. We're going to go ahead and top coat it. Our color. We just got finished spraying the last coat of paint on the wheels. A couple imperfections here and there, some fish eyes, just because I didn't strip the backs of the wheels all the way down to bare aluminum. I did prime them though. Some spots where the paint had built up on the tip and just came out a little thick. Not too worried about it though. It is the back of the wheels. The only reason I wanted to paint those is to have a consistent color all the way throughout. So just be a little bit more careful on the front, which I'm going to do tomorrow. All right, we just finished masking off the front of the wheels. We're gonna go ahead and shoot a few coats of primer on it and then top coat it after the primer flashes off. So let's get started. Alright, first coat's done. We'll let that flash off for about 10 minutes. Get it with the second coat. Alright, now that the primer is set up for about half an hour, I'm going to go ahead and start applying the color. We're going to do a first coat, a light tack coat, and then we're going to lay 2 more coats over top of that, a little bit heavier. Let that set up for about half an hour, and then we'll go ahead and clear coat it after that. All right, we got our first light coat on. We're gonna let that set up for a little bit and then come back and put on our other two heavier coats. What I'll do is I'll come over here off to the side, touch it, make sure it's tacky, and then once it gets to that point, I'll go ahead and lay the rest of the heavy coats on it. Alright, last and final coats of clear coat, and then we'll be done. I'm going to go ahead and put two decent coats on here. That way, if I want to wet sand and polish these after, to knock down any of the little specks of dust that are in the paint, I can. Clear coat is on. Looks a lot darker than the clear coat. I'm happy I'm putting that on. Go ahead and let that set up for like 10 minutes and then apply a second coat. Well, it's the morning after. We're going to go ahead and unwrap these wheels and see how they look. I'm not going to put them on the car yet. A little too early for that. We'll wait till this evening to do that. But it's next morning. I really just wanted to see them without the plastic on.
Production.
All right, guys, they're back on the car. Curious to know what y'all think of it. I like them. They look good. Definitely better than the black. I honestly think the raw aluminum might look better.